She is perfect for the scene. Just take her words and follow your dreams. Erica, please talk to me. What's the 411? Cause I'm in need. Erica, please talk to me. What's the 411? Cause I'm in need.
Hey everybody. Yeah, we have a serious problem, I believe in my opinion, that's going on. Um yeah. Let me make sure the audio is on perfectly. Let me just make sure. It should be for sure. I want to talk about, I kind of never listened to this guy, but I'm just curious at this point on what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just curious at this. Oh, it's okay. It's work. Sorry about that. You guys, like seriously, like it's so many videos. The reason I want to talk about it because it's like literally so many videos, right? That is out concerning, this guy departure, like not departure. Hold on, I'm trying to fix this bed. All right, it's in my back. I could be resting. You guys, serious business, right? They're having so many theories, like so many conspiracies on what possibly happened to this guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly, for what I have heard, the things that he said, a lot of people are not happy, right? A lot of people are like seriously saying like, what's good for a person was not good for a person. Like I told him, I don't wish no one being unalive or wishing death on another human being because that's not right, right? However, I have heard some things that this guy has said out his mouth, and I'm like, literally, I am tired of black this, black that, or we doing this against each other when clearly we see all these wars that are started, unaliving millions of people with pale skin, no regards for life, right? You know? And people are just worried about black on black crime. Right now, there's a surge, right, of people. It's just a surge of people, white people, not people, but white people, are committing way more crimes than any other person. The news people can't even keep up, nor are they talking about any of it. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back to this guy. I seen a video where he's saying allegedly, right? They believe a drone was behind him, like somewhere behind him, and the drone itself, allegedly, again, everything's alleged, did with like he got shot from allegedly got pimpued or shot, whatever you want to call it, from a drone from behind. They said the shot came from behind. That's why you seen the peers, however it went. And I'm like, well, I listened to Candace, right? Candace said there is no blood in the back. There was just a spot, but they're saying that the young man, now they're saying, and the reason why I'm speaking on it, because I never really followed Guy, right? And but to just bluntly constantly take someone's life is insane to me. I mean, something has to give. They have a guy. Yeah, I seen so many theories. Allegedly, one of his kids wasn't his. Allegedly, right? And he found out. I'm like, well, his wife was there. So, I mean, did they get over it? What's going on, right? Then they were saying a drone was in a event where no man could go, and they were just discussing, where, where the shot came from or whatnot, right? um there have a lot of experts saying there's no way, like there's just no way that they say there's no way the guy who shot him, he has a lazy eye, they say, right? They said there's no way that they did that. They're assuming that they say this young boy was smart, right? He was accepted in some type of FBI program, allegedly, with the school, say he had a 4.0 average. They believe that he got recruited, got scared, and they're alluding that he was forced to get on the building, but they don't believe he took the shot because they say he has a lazy eye. And they, if you have a lazy eye, it's kind of like hard to, unless you just really trained, right? So I was like, well, dang, okay, you have a lazy eye. They say they see him running across the building, but they don't show him laying down. They said he disappeared, like the video was arted or whatever, right? So my thing is, y'all, we have to. I think we right now we need to figure out, right, what is really going on for real, for real. It's a lot of theories, like I said, is going on. It's a lot of, I ain't gonna lie, everything that's going on, which is, y'all, is just insane. You know what I'm saying? Um, y'all got to be careful because they're trying to say the man had a lot of footage. That would be, in my opinion, the government trying to use an AI to give a message like, Charlie want you to do certain things. And I'm talking to the white community right now, right? They're trying to use you guys. I'm just telling you. So you guys got to just just pay attention. I'm trying to look for the video. I'm gonna let y'all listen to some experts right now. I mean, a theory. I'm gonna use this video right fast. Let's get it all, Bobo.
It does appear that there were no security drones up during the time of Charlie Kirk's speech and questionnaire to the audience. He did have a security team on the site and on the ground watching the perimeter. And this is the second event in just over a year where there was a rifle used at an event at a political figure, starting with President Trump last year, and no security drones available by the Secret Service. Which begs the question, during the last two events, would security drones have saved Charlie Kirk's life and saved President Trump from getting shot? Let's take an expert drone analysis of the Utah Valley University site and where Charlie Kirk was, as well as the shooter and the surrounding buildings, and how security drones may have saved Charlie Kirk's life. Let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look at the site where Charlie Kirk was giving his speech and questions to the crowd. The crowd was somewhere in the middle here at Utah Valley University, and let's talk about the security flaws that were at that site and how hard it was for his security team to really cover such many different facets in this architecture, elevation changes, and multiple decks and rooftops around this event site center. Very, very hard to secure for anyone making any type of political speech at this location. Now, we do know that the shooter was over on the opposite side, straight across from Charlie Kirk, and there was a huge wall of opportunity there for the shooter to have a straight shot through to Charlie Kirk's tent. He would not have been able to have been shot from behind through the tent because the tent was protecting him from above, but it did leave a large cone of vulnerability right in front of the tent at distance. So that's exactly where the shooter knew to be and likely rehearsed in this scenario. The shooter positioned himself in a prone position over at the loci center facing Charlie Kirk, giving him a very large hall of opportunity and cone of vulnerability in front of Charlie Kirk for a very open shot. The first security flaw at the site was noted by people that attended the event, saying there was no security at the entrance or bag searches coming into Charlie Kirk's event. And we recently found out in the last 24 hours that there were no security drones present during the event or the time of the shooting. They were deployed afterwards by local police to try to find and apprehend the shooter. And at this distance of 520 feet from the shooter's building at the Loci Center to Charlie Kirk's tent, it's around 200 yards, which leads us to believe that it was a well-trained shooter with something like a bolt rifle or a 308 Win Mag, likely a deer hunter type of rifle. And anyone shooting at 200 yards had practiced this before they came to this event. So we do believe the shooter was well trained. Now, we were concerned when we found out that there were no drones overhead at Charlie Kirk's event. And again, this is a very complex environment to be able to cover because of all of elevation changes. And there are multiple decks, as you can see here in yellow, around the courtyard where Charlie Kirk was speaking. And there were crowds of people all along these decks. There's also a vast network of rooftops to cover as well at this site. The University of Utah Valley is very, very new and modern architecture. So the shooter could have chose any one of these rooftops to make his location and get his shot. We also see that he could have chose to been closer, but he chose the building the farthest away with the straightest shot. And this was one shot, one kill. Now, with this complex scene, the first thing a security team should think about when they're trying to secure a location for a political candidate or a political influencer should include air security, such as drone surveillance. The number one drone position here would have been over the first rooftop behind Charlie Kirk, covering this section of roof here and the front of the courtyard. We would have put drone number 2 over here in front of Charlie Kirk on his right, covering this section of building and the courtyard below. Drone number 3 would have been a little further over, covering this section of the deck and the rooftop and the courtyard below. Drone number 4 would have been directly above the Loci Center, right where the shooter would have been, and would have been easily spotted within 30 seconds of him entering the rooftop. Number 5 would have been positioned here in front of Charlie Kirk and on the top of this building, covering this building top and this deck. And as you can see, with these 5 drones, it would have given us much larger cone of security here for Charlie Kirk's security and safety. Without this, it did really leave Charlie open to any type of rooftop activity or shooters. Because honestly, we believe the security on the ground was looking for someone with something like a pistol or a rifle on the ground. And it's really hard to expect what can happen at any given event. But would it have saved Charlie Kirk's life had we had these drones in place for his security operation? And would they have seen the shooter up on the Loci Center building? We think it would have definitely helped in Charlie Kirk's situation. So given the analysis of this event in comparison to President Trump's event last year, no drones above the event really created a huge security flaw, especially for Charlie Kirk. So our heart goes out to Charlie Kirk, his family and friends for what happened to him. And we hope that in the future, maybe the folks in Washington, D.C. can start thinking about having security drones available for politicians that are giving speeches outdoors.
From a sniper standpoint, I am curious because it's been excuse me, such a big hotbed topic now. Is there a counter sniper component to FBI, both in practical application of whether it's dignitary support or things that you're doing where it would make sense to do counter sniper, but then do they also utilize I don't want to necessarily say conspiracy theories, but all this different angle and video footage that hasn't been seen before. And, who knows if it's doctored or not, or if it's completely CGI generated, like you don't know what to believe. Yeah. But from like that 30,000 foot view, what is your take on the overall assassination operationally?
Well, you struck a point with me that I'm.
Just start over. Something happened with my audio, you guys. I definitely apologize.
From a sniper standpoint, I'm curious because it's been, excuse me, such a big hotbed topic now. Counter sniper component to FBI, both in practical application of whether it's dignitary support or things that you're doing where it would make sense to do counter sniper, but then do they also utilize somebody like yours expertise in, say, a Charlie Kirk assassination case where they would bring you in as an FBI sniper and help the investigation? Like, do you do any of that? Or would you do any of that?
Let me think about that. I don't think I did.
I guess, would it be logical for...
Yeah. Part of it was like, I retired 3 years ago and a lot of this crap just happened. So I think it would probably be reasonable that the FBI would look at its own snipers for investigative purposes.
Yeah. While we're on that, decade FBI sniper, seeing the Charlie Kirk assassination and just the multitude of conspiracy, I don't want to necessarily say conspiracy theories, but all this different angle and video footage that hasn't been seen before. And, who knows if it's doctored or not, or if it's complete. That 30,000 foot view, what is your take on the overall assassination operationally?
Well, you struck a point with me that I'm to the point where I feel like I don't know who I would trust with anything from the media or from, man, that sounds crass, or from any government official. Like
even the one you used to work for. I
would, yeah. Well, and that's what I mean. I feel very fortunate because I can call my old teammates and go, "Hey, man, what happened?" Like with the Dallas shooting that just happened. I could call my teammates and they were like, "Hey, yeah, we just did this," stuff that they're allowed to tell me. And so it's nice to have that peek into, like, okay, my old team is still functioning. They're still banging on all 8 cylinders. And so I have faith in that. Like, that's the thing I have the most faith in our government because I was in it for so long. But when I watch news stories and hear I don't know what to believe. I'll tell you what I think you already believe is that, like, murder is wrong and killing someone for any political reason is despicable. I had an interview lined up for this weekend that just got canceled. And if they watch this, I was disappointed because I was looking forward to talking to them. But they canceled it because of all the stuff that's going on and the perception of what a sniper is right now. And that it made me kind of mad. I was talking to one of my teammates and who's out in Virginia, this morning, and he's like, hey, in fairness, Merriam-Webster, it says sniper is someone who shoots from a concealed location. But it bothers me that they're sort of, well, we don't want to talk about you and your career in the military and the FBI because you're a sniper, because snipers right now. I wish.
Yeah. That's
It
just
makes me mad when they refer to this like a murderer as a sniper. Screw that guy.
Yeah. To me, the burning question is do you know anybody that has any insight into the Charlie Kirk assassination specifically, and have you talked to them about anything that they know?
Nothing that's not, no. I don't.
So that's a no, or nothing that
I don't like nothing that's not already. Yeah, I've called friends and teammates, and nothing surprising or scandalous. Like,
so the answer is yes, you do know people and have reached out to them, but there hasn't been any information that hasn't already been put out. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing that, again, from your operational expertise being so extensive, and I don't want to turn into one of these guys that analyzes every bit of footage and says, oh, it came from the back, and well, what about his shirt in this way and whatever. But the one thing that I am a little baffled on is, and to be clear, like, who knows if the video footage is even authentic and original and unaltered, but the weapon that was used, right? It's this old Mauser or bolt action. It's not easy to break down quickly. Unless I'm missing something, I don't know where that weapon could have been on his person when he's doing that. And then it's found again later on, hundreds of yards or further away in a tree line, put back together, wrapped in a towel. Does that line up as being plausible to you?
Seems bizarre. I'll tell you, having been on the inside, working on some big cases and seeing what the media, not even nefariously, just like begging for crumbs, right? It's their job. They're like, I want every little thing. And they'll get something mixed up. And sometimes they get it mixed up and they get even better ratings because now it's scandalous. And so from the inside, I've seen that and thought, you're getting it wrong. And you're getting more attention now that you're getting it wrong. So everything I see now on TV, I take with a grain of salt, because I think, was that part of the finalized report, or is that something that someone in the media is scrounging up to increase their rating? So my attitude is like, I just withhold judgment.
I mean, I'm right there with you when it comes to, oh, he was at Dairy Queen an hour later or 20 minutes. Like, okay, well, that doesn't, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. If the dude's off his rocker, then what, but to me, like, it's irrelevant. Like, to me, that doesn't say, well, it couldn't have been him because he calmly had a blizzard 20 minutes later. Like, who knows? To me, the one thing that I can say unequivocally that I would say this doesn't match with what I know about shooting from elevated positions and trying to egress quickly and escape after the fact, that the video that you see there very clearly demonstrates to me that there's a hole. So I would just ask, like from your perspective, like, is it possible that he had the rifle on from the video that on his person, from the video that you saw, that he was able to break it down on the rooftop, conceal it in a manner which you can't tell that it's on his body, and make a jump from that height and land the way that he did, take off running with both of his arms loose, with just a floppy jacket or hoodie in one hand, and manage to get that rifle hundreds of yards away or further, put back together, wrapped in a towel, and concealed? Does that seem possible?
I have no idea. I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but I think having done federal investigation for 25 years, I deeply suspend judgment as long as possible. Like, I don't want to set a bias for myself. So when I was working a case, if I followed a lead, I'd followed a lead, but I would always be open to what if. And one of the places I still have a lot of confidence is in our federal court system. Like, this will go before, I don't know if this one particularly will necessarily, but these big cases go before courts where guys like you and I get to sit in the jury box, and really highly paid or highly trained attorneys get to duke it out. And when they can sit down and say this guy's DNA is here and it was on this and this bullet matches the, you know, the chromium amount of that's in this bullet, and a shrapnel was recovered from here, and here's photos that were taken. So, you know, when they start to put together that kind of stuff and a jury makes their decision and there's overwhelming evidence, that's when I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to start deciding what I think is true and what's not. I just don't. Watching stuff on the news, I don't really watch the news. I listen to it. I listen to like my Echo Dot in the morning, and I'll listen to NPR and Fox and USA. Like I want to hear all of it, and then I want to pick apart somewhere in the middle is probably the truth of it. But I don't watch the videos.
Yeah.
Like the video you're talking about, I haven't watched.
Okay. I mean, maybe I'm guilty of my own accusation of picking things apart, and I want to be transparent enough to say, you know, maybe I do fall into that category, because I don't disagree that in the court of law, it's like if ballistically and scientifically you can prove that this weapon was fired and the bullet that came from it is what ended his life, and your DNA is now on that weapon and it's at this location, how you got it from point A to point B is essentially irrelevant, right? Because ultimately it's connecting enough dots to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt in a court system that you fired that weapon and killed him, no matter how you got away with it. No matter how you Houdini'd your way off the roof, and is that those are the facts. And so everything in between is essentially inconsequential. Is that a fair way to look at it?
I think it is. And I don't get too excited about conspiracy theories, because in a really big agency that has really high standards like the FBI, you could never manage to keep a conspiracy under wraps. Like if people put themselves in the first person position, they put themselves in the seat of being the agent, knowing what I know about how the agency is built, the amount of autonomy that we get. But if you think about like you and your 10 best buddies,
Somebody's going to run their mouth.
someone's going to run their mouth, right?
Yeah.
And they'll proudly, right? If they're like, Mike, here's the deal. We're going to blow up the Twin Towers. Wait, hear me.
I can tell you guys what I plan to do. Stop screen. Okay. What I'm finna do, you guys, I'm finna go look up Candace Owens, right? Now, yeah, I'm gonna go look her up, because I seen some guys saying they think that a drone had that was behind him. They say you could see the glare from behind him or whatnot. And like I said, I don't listen to Guy, but I don't listen to Guy, but it's just strange for a human being to just say what happened is okay. You know what I'm saying? That's just like you and me may or may not agree on something, but you could just go take my life. So I'm finna show a video of Candace speaking on the woman that was seen with this guy, right? That alleged shooter, basically, before I guess the day of or whatnot. So we finna go with the flow.
Absolutely no apparent reason at all. The agents, like I think of them as like Mr. Smith in the Matrix, have a against me and Tucker Carlson, of course, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. It is so bonkers. I got to show you what they are saying to her. Before we get into that, some incredible breaking news. We have now confirmed that there was indeed a woman who was with the shooter in the footage that was captured by the houses nearby the area. And for whatever reason, the FBI has not yet released or even acknowledged that that footage exists. This is absolutely huge, actually. I think this is the biggest thing that we have uncovered since the beginning of this investigation. So let's jump right back into this. Welcome back to Candace. an answer on that one for the public. The venue was indeed secured in quick order, but that was book at the White House and in a personal phone call to the event. And they actually did already have an event that was scheduled. And the White House simply asked those people if they would be willing to move or reschedule their event. It was apparently supposed to be an RV show, actually. And obviously, given the nature of the tragedy, it was globally traumatizing to everybody. I think everybody was moved by Charlie Kirk's assassination. The people that held that space were willing to oblige it. So that tracks with me. That seems accurate. I just wanted to help you guys with that information. Also, another thing that I came across, and this is regarding Phil Lyman's campaign website. You guys were asking me if we came across that. Yes, I did come across that. And I actually, in the short run, didn't think much of it because I thought, okay, well, he was running a campaign and he has a website. And yes, we were aware that George Zinn is one of just 20 people that is a featured endorsement. He endorses Phil Lyman's character. You can see that here. George Zinn writes, rare to find a more caring man with uncompromising goals to make Utah great for generations than Phil Lyman. Not a politician who can be pampered. Phil has a knowledge of urban and rural Utah from every corner and community. Utah is in desperate need of true leadership and representation, and Phil has the passion and the values to be a great governor. He needs our support. Now, not sure what to make of that. I did want to use Wayback Machine to see whether or not that was a new entry. Maybe somebody is trolling there. And no, they are not. That entry has been there at least since, I'm going to show you this on Wayback, at least since June 6th, 2024. So I don't know what to make of that. George Zinn, for whatever reason. But of course, Phil Lyman's people would have been controlling that website. Certainly should have been aware of his erratic character and maybe wouldn't want to have featured him on that website. I don't know. It's definitely something to consider. Some other things that are of interest. Okay. Yesterday, we mentioned that apparently it was kind of everybody's first day on the job, right? 9/10 was everybody's first day on the job, meaning that there were a lot of these recent law that kind of come across and have to deal with this case. Kash Patel, I told you, cleaned house at the state borough. He then installs a person that has a long tenure in DC, Robert Bowles. His first case is Charlie Kirk's assassination. Why would he want to uproot and move his family to Utah after having roots in Virginia? But that's the circumstance. Also, I told you there was a new lead surgeon, Andrew Zenger, over at the hospital, the regional hospital that Charlie was taken to, although that was not the nearest hospital from the university. And it also ranked extremely low in terms of the most that Charlie was suffering from, a neck wound, obviously. So it's very strange. I think it would be interesting to learn whether or not that new CEO and surgeon worked on Charlie. That's something that I would like to find out. If you know that information, please send it to us at tips, though. Also, some other new people, and I forgot to mention the judge that is in the case, that is overseeing the case against Tyler Robinson, is Judge Tony F. Graff Jr. He was recently appointed to the 4th District Court in May of 2025 by Governor Spencer Cox. I was also informed that the coroner in this case was also brand spanking new. That name has not yet been released. I am told that person is new. Okay. And I have also learned, I've been told that Charlie did indeed have an autopsy. I wanted to let you guys know that because I saw a lot of rumors that were circulating that he did not have an autopsy. That has been confirmed. An autopsy did take place. By the way, you should know that in the state of Utah, in case you, like me, are maybe holding your breath that we're going to see that report, those reports are actually kept private. So there isn't going to be some big release outside of what maybe the immediate family members wishing for that and saying, I feel like something's wrong and I would now like to release the autopsy report. That's the only way that we are going to be able, that's at least what I've learned. Now let's jump back into what actually took place on that day, because I'm starting to get a bit of a stronger hunch about things. We'll jump back in here regarding Shaner Broderick, who is, according to Phil Lyman, a cousin who he refers to Phil as his uncle. And Shaner Broderick has, of course, mysteriously deleted all of his socials except for Instagram, but he's wiped his Instagram, okay? Just deleted his Facebook and just outright deleted his LinkedIn page because I asked him a question before we even went live. That was his response, okay? Now, he did this. I grabbed everything that I needed from his pages. I just had a suspicion that he might not be willing to participate, and I was operating under the assumption that he might just ties his socials. So I instructed my team to grab everything before I even made contact. Now, what I did not anticipate was that he would delete the content. Okay. Why would he delete the content? That part wasn't tracking for me. It didn't make sense to me. Now it sort of maybe does make a lot of sense to me. So you will recall that we had received a show, someone paid money to inform us that there was footage that the FBI was hiding, right? She wrote in, said, I have been trying to reach out to you everywhere. The FBI is hiding footage. The doorbell cam footage had more. This is what the person told us. She said, and he is with a woman. She told me. And then she gives me a name, and that name was another Lyman family member. And that's when my spidey senses started tingling. I'm like, okay, this is a lot of Lymans. Now, I want to be very clear and fair to Phil Lyman. He has been forthcoming about the fact that his family owns property. Everything there. That is not mysterious. He's not hiding that back. You because the acreage from his family for that university. But I did feel that if that is the case, obviously, then Phil Lyman would, in theory, be able to access that footage, right? Be able to, and yeah, I didn't want to come out and say that it was a fact that there was a woman with the shooter without any proof. We had no proof outside of this person, and what she was saying felt real to me definitively, but I needed something more solid. Well, we came across something more solid. We reviewed the footage that Shaner Broderick, of course, we downloaded everything, but hadn't actually reviewed it, had wiped from the internet. And yeah, the proof is in the pudding, and I'm going to let you hear it. Now, to set this up, you will recall that Shaner and his close friends that nobody knows, apparently, they were retracing the footsteps of the killer. They were at his grandma's house, he said. And he's speaking on camera with his aunt to set this footage up for you. And sure enough, you're going to hear there was a woman who was helping the shooter, and she's not sure whether or not that person was an accomplice. I would say if you're helping the shooter, you were an accomplice, but somehow we all missed this in this actual clip that Shaner had posted and has since been wiped from the internet. Take a listen.
If you time how long it took him to get from that little part over to here, was way longer than it should have been. So I wondered if the girl had given him stuff. You're filming.
And it's right at Sam's across the street, right here.
Yep.
So you see, she's talking about the shooter, and she says, I was wondering if the girl had given him stuff. And then somebody off camera says, you're filming. And she says, I'm sorry that you're filming, but it's very clear. There's no question at all. In fact, leading into that, which we should have maybe cut that against her. And she that's what she's starting with. I don't, but the timing doesn't make sense to me because I throw her and just they can hear it again. She says, "It's a girl. Take a listen."
If you tap time to get from the little part here was way longer than it should have been. So I wondered if the girl had given him stuff, like if there is an accomplice. Sorry, you're filming.
And it said right here, that picture from Sam's across the street, he was right here.
Yep.
So just to be clear, those subtitles are wrong. It's just that's AI. She's saying, I wondered if there is an accomplice. Okay. I wondered if there is an accomplice, which we should edit that, Chris, when we re-release that. And then somebody says something, and she's like, sorry, I didn't realize you were filming. Okay. So we have the woman who was my source who said that the FBI cut the footage and she was certain of it. And now we have actually the woman who handed over her footage to the FBI saying, I wondered if that woman was an accomplice. Ladies and gentlemen, was with the alleged shooter. Why wouldn't the FBI immediately release that? Now, again, you should recall that the very next morning, on September the 11th, TMZ already had doorbell footage. So that means that the FBI already had the footage, would have seen that there was a woman with the shooter. And yet they chose during this manhunt, during this 33-hour manhunt, not to inform the public that they were also looking for a woman who this believes she wondered whether or not it would have been an accomplice. If that was what happened to this lady? Who is the girl, the woman that would have been, guys? I have ideas here. Why would the FBI not tell us something that we have a woman that's involved? What does she look like? How old is she? I obviously did the sensible thing, right? I reached out to Phil Lyman because it's his family, and I asked him whether or not he would be willing to track down this footage. And he's not happy with me. He's angry. I mean, he said really not nice things to me. He started asking me if I had something to do with the shooting. Okay. And I basically just stayed focused and said, Phil, okay, we showed your footage. He's very upset about cousin versus nephew thing. I said, it's all irrelevant. If you're saying you actually want to help us catch the killer, right? If that's really where your heart was, if that's really why you injected yourself so much into this story, why wouldn't you, knowing how deeply I care about this, walk over while you're in the neighborhood popping by, walk over to your aunt, grandma, cousins, I don't care whose house, and say, hey, you said there was an accomplice, that there was a woman, okay, that might have been an accomplice. Do you mind letting me see the raw footage so that I can hand it over to Candace? In fact, how about just giving me any of the footage that your family rushed to give it to TMZ? Why did they rush to give it to TMZ? By the way, you definitely were at your house and hadn't seen the footage. You were watching it live with Kaylee McEnany said during that footage. So apparently to give the footage to TMZ before you could even see it. Okay, maybe the feds gave it. That's another assumption. That's the only two options. Either your cousin gave it to TMZ or the feds gave a portion of it to TMZ, which begs the question, why were we not told about the woman? Who was the woman? We should now all be putting a lot of pressure on the FBI to make a statement about why the woman who handed over her footage, I've now twice confirmed, in her own mouth. So why are they worried about that being caught on camera? Oh, sorry, didn't realize you were filming. What's that about? It's like everybody knows something that I don't know. And I want to be in the know on what happened to Charlie Kirk on 9/10. So if you have any tips pertaining to who the woman was that was caught, please let me know. I am going to try again to reach out to this family since I don't think that Phil Lyman wants to assist me, doesn't like me. That's fine. I wonder if he likes truth, if he likes trying to solve this thing. That would be great as well. If he doesn't want to talk to me, I'm happy to put him in touch with another journalist. But if you know something more and you'd like to reach out to us, please do. Reach out to us on social media. And I please ask again that you guys reserve not sending us videos, talks, and links, but rather if you have information, please use tips@candaceowens.com. I love you all. And I love that the whole world wants to know what happened. And I'm grateful for that. But there's only so much data that an inbox gets. We might just miss that line. I think we should do. Skylar, we should talk about that. Okay, now we turn our attention back to the mysterious individual that is next to Shaner, right? We discovered that one person was from Austria. And then we're going, who's this goth kid that Phil has been clear he does not know him. Phil Lemon does not know this individual. He could not help identify him. I told you it was unusual that our inbox wasn't instantly flooded with people telling us exactly who it was. Well, then we did get another hit on him. And a handful of you similarly found the same person that we did, a person going by the name Ronald, who was allegedly from Washington. Now, let me tell you why I don't think this is his true identity, okay? Because if this was just some kid who grew up in Washington, went to school in Utah, my inbox would be flooded with that name. And it's not, okay? It's simply not. Oddly, no one has come forward to claim that they know him. No one is saying they went to school with him. This is a young college student. He's allegedly, like I said, from Washington State. And no one personally can say, I know this person. How could that be? How could that be? I'll go more deeply into this tomorrow, but many of you guys have been sending those clues about the Azov battalion, about Ukrainian, Russian people that were coming into Utah. There seems to be some organized movement, people that are being given new identities. Actually, one person wrote us and told us that UVU in and of itself as a campus has an unbelievable amount of dedication. I mean, even the president, I'm blanking on her name, it like majored in Soviet studies. Like they have a direct pipeline from Russia to America. It's very interesting. And yes, it is true. It is a fact that, but there are old photos of Tyler Robinson when he's a lot younger, visiting his uncle Mikey. Okay. His uncle Mikey, who is working with the Ukrainian Azov battalion. Okay. He's a military man. And that gets really interesting when I start to combine all of the aspects of this case. And again, we are stronger than a theory and more of a hunch. And people that execute over. And when you look at the region, things get really interesting. When you look at UVU campus and their strong ties to the CIA, things start to get really interesting, right? And I think this is a path that needs to be pursued. And it turns out that there have been, the New York Times has reported, and Russian Ukrainian spies that are building new lives from themselves with new IDs in America, in Brazil. Essentially what we're talking about are terrorist cells. I believe that. I believe that with the Ukrainian war, okay? And they always hack us emotionally. Oh, we need to have open borders. It allows them that are perhaps completely insane and deranged, and they are in fact raising little militants and they're executing these programs. And let me tell you, if this is correct, if this is sort of like a neo-Bolshevik militant tribe, then we need to be concerned. And spiritually, I can tell you how I feel spiritually. That feels right to me. I've been pleading with you guys to get your kids out of these schools. I am telling you that something very dark is going on. And I'm going to continue to stress to you that you need to take your children out of school. Homeschool your children. There is something dark that I am perceiving that is happening, not just in public schools, but in private schools as well. Okay. Why our kids had to go. We couldn't get basic answers about somebody that had kind of fallen into through the cracks and was posting Polish underground symbols. Her parent was posting Polish underground symbols. And I realized something was wrong. Something was off. I'm showing and this is translated from Russian, by the way. So the English here isn't perfect, but it is telling about White Lotus sect of all things. For those of you that follow Lotus idea, it's essentially they're training fighters, and that this has been these all Ukrainian organizations, and that's exactly what it sounds like, that they're training fighters, that it's really dangerous. And my suspicion is that this is happening right here in America. It would make sense that there is global communication if they want to take somebody out. And it is also a fact, by the way, that Charlie was on a hit list. I also was on the hit list. Tucker was on the hit list. And actually, I forgot the name of the individual that worked for Alex Jones who got killed, but he was similarly on a Ukrainian hit list. It's something that I think should be explored a little bit further. And like I said, we're going to go deeper on that topic on, we'll actually do that tomorrow, and we'll bring in the aspects and show you whether or not, but I'm just seeing these recurring themes of the military. For whatever reason, I'm also seeing a recurring theme of child abuse and a recurring theme of people who appear to have changed their name and that are operating in the shadows, and something is not right. Again, a theory that is now turning into a very strong hunch. More on that tomorrow. First, I want to tell you guys about Goldco, because according to reports, Fed Chair Jerome Powell has just fueled hopes for a rate cut. And of course, the price of gold moved in surging national debt, market volatility, and never-ending wars. Gold is real, it's tangible, and it's held value for thousands of years. Unlike the stock market or currency, gold doesn't vanish when politicians make bad decisions, which, for being honest, it's happening a lot these days. And that's exactly why I've been partnering with the award-winning company Goldco, because they sell precious metals like gold and silver, and they do an amazing job with it. So whether you're worried about inflation, government spending, or you just want peace of mind, Goldco makes it easy. Here's what you can do. You can visit CandiceLikesGold.com, and you'll get a free 2025 gold and silver kit, and you'll learn how you can get up to 10% in free silver. So don't wait for the next crisis. Protect your future today. Call 855-815-GOLD or visit Candice Likes Gold and CandiceLikesGold.com. Also telling you guys about Paleo Valley. I love them. Something that my team and I are always craving are healthy beef sticks, specifically the ones from my friends over at Paleo Valley. Paleo Valley makes their meat sticks with 100% grass-fed beef, of course, sourced from small-scale regenerative. You can feel good about what you're eating and what you're supporting. They have stripped out all of the junk. There's no preservatives, gluten, soy, sugar, dairy, or GMOs, just clean, nutrient-dense fuel, the way food was meant to be. So whether you're road tripping, you're working late, you're running around with the kids, these sticks will deliver you high protein energy without the crash. Whether you're keto, paleo, carnivore, it doesn't matter. Paleo Valley works with your lifestyle. It won't work again. They come in multiple bold flavors, including original, jalapeno, summer sausage, maple bacon, and teriyaki. So there's something for everyone. With over 55 million beef sticks sold, Paleo Valley is trusted, proven, and backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee. Right now, get 20% off your first order at paleovalley.com/Candice. Use promo code Candice at checkout. What can I say, you guys? The world is very clearly changing, and it is changing fast. Okay. 2 years ago, the mere idea that you might share a perspective that Jews are controlling the media, that would be considered anti-Semitic. You would be called a Jew hater. Fast forward to 2025, and Bibi Netanyahu is now hosting an on-camera meeting about how they are going to shape U.S. opinion. I honestly, with my eyes, I was going, this can't be real. Like they're not even hiding it anymore, right? It's like first it was a conspiracy theory, now it's like, okay. And what are we going to do? How are we going to beat out all these independents because they're telling the truth? So Deborah Lee asked Bibi Netanyahu specifically about Charlie Kirk's assassination and the potential loss of evangelical support for the state of Israel because of it, which, by the way, is going to be the consequence of this. It will be the consequence of this because they lied after he died and it pissed me off. Okay. Take a listen to what Deborah asks.
So something I would like to raise, which was actually my first published paper, was how you and the Likud party are cut from the same ideological cloth as Trump and the GOP in America. Specifically, Charlie Kirk's Assassination, which is my first mentor space. Evangelicals, from all my research, evangelicals are the reason that Israel has been supported in public sphere outside of just Jews. So with Charlie's assassination and with the kind of trajectory that we see with like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel. What's our backup? Be strong, like outside.
Okay. First, I don't know why it's always Carlson. Why is it always Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens? Like, can it be anybody else? It's all like, what? We have nothing to do with one another. I've been on his show twice on his independent show. I just love Tucker. I do. I'm a fan. I'm not going to lie. But I feel like they're starting to think we're the same person. Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens over and over again. But listen to Bibi's response because prepare yourself. What he is saying is that they are about to launch a, he says,
about the he said, Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're beliefs, but they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influence. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community. They're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay? And you can things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class. TikTok. TikTok. Number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one? That's most important. X. X. Exactly. Very good. And, you know, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To take people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpoint? Yes.
Okay, so like we're allowed to say Israel controls the media now. Okay, I think that's just like on camera. Now there will be no dispute about this. The fact that you have a foreign leader, it's incredible. You have a foreign leader who is sitting up there saying that he wants his agents, he needs the deal to go through, which by China, we don't want China to own TikTok, and I'm worried about your data. No, you wanted to hand it over to your Zionist friends. Okay, it was all a mirage. Okay, it was all theater. Donald Trump has sold us out to Israel once again. Okay, so he's saying, I want this deal to go through, and we know who's a part of that deal. It's Larry Ellison, who Andreessen Horowitz, the son of David Horowitz, from which all of the connections, PragerU, I could tell you the stories, PragerU, David Horowitz Foundation, and Ben Shapiro, all of them related in their beginnings in Los Angeles. So he's basically saying, we need to take over TikTok because what are they going to do? What they've already done? They're going to censor speech. They got on board, just like the ADL spokesperson said when he was caught on the mic, was like, we need to do something about TikTok. And now they're doing the thing, right? They are going to take over TikTok and they're going to ban your speech. It's happening right now. The second that CEO who said she was a proud Zionist, or maybe, but one of the executives there that they installed immediately after, she said she was a proud Zionist and spent time in Israel. We saw instantly that our content was getting strikes. You can't say anything bad. And Yahoo as well, right? They want to censor speech, which was something that Charlie was very worried about. He was very worried about what Israel's speech, and I have those text messages with him. And yeah, so that's actually happening. We are going to be, we're subject to a psychological operation. This is what they do. You can see it on X. There's all of these, like, I call them military bots, and they're just like sock puppets who just say wonderful things about Israel all the time. You can say they want to subject Americans to, and they think that that is going to, in the long run, bring people over to their side. It's the exact opposite, obviously. Okay, it's so dumb to think. It's like, have you even gone through basic parenting 101? Like and support your country? They're most certainly not going to. Instead, they're going to see you speaking publicly about how you're planning to take over social media sites in America against your has rightfully shifted. Okay, because opinion has rightfully shifted against your country on the basis of your behavior, right? Like Charlie said, on the basis of your behavior. Okay, you fall into every stereotype. The stereotypes wouldn't exist if you didn't behave this way. That's the reality. You're on camera. You have zero shame in saying this. You could have said anything there, right? Like a person would say, "Wow, we want to get out the truth." Thousands of children. That, and I think that people will start to like us again. He's like, "No, we just need to crush them. We need to crush speech by controlling speech in America," and that's what the plan is. Look no further than this random attack that Megyn Kelly is going through, okay, for no reason at all. And I hate to say this, but I was laughing reading Constantine Kissin's tweets and what they were saying to her, because I lived it. I lived what Megyn Kelly's going through. I lived what Charlie was going through, where suddenly you realize people that are pretending to be your friends, they're like, "I'm your friend, I care about you," are actually like agents. And that's why Smith from the Matrix, and they're real close to ruining your life if you don't do what they want, okay? So for no reason at all, I'll tell you how this transpired. Megyn Kelly tweeted her episode and said, for whatever reason, Florida Dad, which is one of these like Zio bot accounts that constantly tweets in favor of Israel, wrote this to Megyn. We can pull this up. He writes, "If you separate yourself from Candace Owens, many of us are going to separate ourselves from you." Like, she didn't mention anything about me. He says, "We do not have to align with everyone that claims to be of the right when their motives and history are as shady as no attachment." So the idea that he's demanding that she make a statement against me is insane. She replies, she holds the line. She says, "Look at this. No, I have no obligation to, quote unquote, separate myself from anyone. I run my own media company and my own show. That show is where I express my own opinions, and I will decide what and what listen to me that I may not be for you. He's a close friend, and she is under enough pressure without gratuitous shots from me. My fight is with the left, not these two." Like, kudos to Megyn Kelly. They've been friends for a very long time. And yeah, I'm kind of taking a lot of bullets right now. So I thank you, Megyn, for not just taking a gratuitous swipe because I'm breathing over here. But it's not enough. So then they bring the other agent, Constantine Kissin, which, by the way, there's going to be a day where I just release everybody's family genealogy. His is astonishing. Israel, let's be very clear. Constantine Kissin then jumps in and says, here's the problem. He's a free speech warrior, Constantine Kissin. The problem with this approach, which many on the right are taking, is that this is exactly our own extremists, so we're extremists, to first flourish and then to become the face of the entire movement. If you agree with Candace and Tucker, people will respect that. But to many of us, their behavior is so extreme and so deranged that the idea that it can be simply ignored because your fight is quote unquote with the left doesn't wash. You have always been a great, principled, truth-seeking journalist. So to many of your admirers like me, the question might be, if you agree with them, fine. But if you don't, Why isn't your fight with them? This is almost verbatim. It's like scary to me because I'm like, this is like military training. Almost verbatim, a text message that I received from Marissa Streit when I like retweeted Max Blumenthal, I think once, when he said something that I totally agreed with. And then like all of the agents, like Dave Rubin, all of them are like, don't you see what you did? And they make you think you're going crazy, but they kind of pretend to be your friend. And you're like, what did I do wrong? Like I just said, genocide is always wrong. I just retweeted Max Blumenthal, something he said that was sensible. And they come in and they're like, I understand what you're doing. I'm your friend. But I worry that other people are going to see what you're doing and not understand. And it just, I want you to be okay, because we're just wondering, like, we all agree that that's bad, right? So why don't you just say what I'm telling you to say, Meg? Get it? I think like that's the subtext, Meg. That is the subtext, Megan. I can promise you that. I lived it. There's no halfway with these people. I'm telling you, there's no halfway. She didn't do anything. She shared her episode and said, if you want to hear Charlie Kirk in his own words, here it is. That is literally what they are responding to. And now they're going to pretend to be her friend. So she responds to, man, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm digging my heels in, because they know what this is. Okay, Megan is an adult. She's also quite brilliant. She's not going to fall. And you're sitting here trying to, I love you so much. She's like trying to manipulate a toddler. She's not stupid. And he says, I demand nothing of you. And in coming from a position of great respect, I'm simply asking why it is that you don't believe that lies told by prominent people on the right shouldn't be challenged in the way that we all challenge lies told by people on the left. And she said, your response proves the opposite of what it purports to. She sees right through him. Of course she does, because she's not a child. Okay. This is how the agents work. They pretend to be your friend. And I'm telling you, if she doesn't buck, because that's what they want, we will whip you and you will buck. And what you will buck by making a strong statement against Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, when we demand it. Then they will send there, which is a full-blown press attack. The press that they do not control, by the way. They do not control the press. That's anti-Semitic. I want to be very clear. They don't control it, but they will control it when they come after her if she doesn't do what they say. Watch that space, you guys. Watch that space. Okay, I get because lies have been pure talk, because of the first every day about, which allows me to stand strong behind the microphone every day and share the truth with you. If you want to support brands that defend freedom and pro-American values, I encourage you to switch your wireless service to Pure Talk. You're going to get great 5G coverage and an extremely reliable and secure network. And with plans from just $25 a month, you'll save a ton of money. Pure Talk believes in creating American jobs and supporting small business. So if you're a small business owner, you can save even more while enjoying Wi-Fi with companies who share your values. Go to puretalk.com/Owens to switch to my wireless company, which is Pure Talk. And right now you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, that's puretalk.com/Owens to make the switch today. Also remind you guys about Nimi Skincare, because there was a reason that we all love the fall. We love the crisp air. We love the changes, the leaves. But the season of transition, again, the end of summer sun, the new autumn wind, it can leave your skin looking tired, dry, and dull. So if you're looking in the mirror and you're feeling like your skin has lost its radiance with the season, I need that my skin stays clear, firm, and glowing no matter what the weather brings. Their 3-step anti-aging routine is the perfect defense for this seasonal shift. It's packed with powerful, clinically backed ingredients that work to restore your skin's barrier, which is exactly what you need to fight off that dry autumn air. It boosts collagen production to help with those fine lines. It locks in deep moisture, and it brightens your complexion, bringing back that healthy glow that you had in the summer. And here's what it's in: produces everything right here in the USA. They deliver world-class quality while staying true to the values that we hold dear, which is faith, family, and freedom. You should not have to compromise your values to get incredible skincare. And with Nimi, you don't have to. So as you prepare for the new season, make sure that your skin is prepared to get an exclusive 10% off your order at nimiskincare.com. You can use code Candace10 at checkout, support a brand.com, use promo code Candace10, and you'll get 10% off. All right, guys, what is on your mind? I always feel like I get in trouble in the comment section for some reason. Oh, I wanted to read this email that came in because Turning Point has made a big splash about that. And this person attended and wrote this to me. It reads, "Dear Candace, tonight, which is September 30th, 2025, several friends and myself attended the TPUSA event at Utah. The event was scripted. The entire presentation lacked authenticity. I'm happy to answer any questions about specifics, but if this is how TPUSA is going to proceed, then it will not be successful. I fully agree with you that if this is the vibe that we're getting and catching right now, they're not going to be successful. Okay, you're never smarter than your audience. I say it over and over again. Thing is not right, and we are not getting the truth, and they are too mum. And I definitely know I got received other emails of people saying that they felt that it was very much controlled. But I feel like it gets to a more broader point, which is that nothing that is fake will survive in the long run. Okay. And there's a lot of fakeness and gayness that is happening right now. And yesterday, it's why I just went ahead and took a shot at the beast. I will not allow them to turn UA into a company. I have people doing that. I do. And so I don't know where they're going if they're trying Charlie's company, whether I agree with him or not, the same reason he authentically and loved Israel, and then he authentically was seeing what their tactics were, how they were trying to control speech, and he perceived them to be problematic, and it was their behavior that turned him against them. And the fact that they are just continuing that behavior now and just trying to pretend that the last part didn't happen, it sickens me. It won't survive unless there is more truth, and we should absolutely demand it. There is a note here from my producer, from Erica Mindel, who is an American Israeli Jewish former IDF soldier, currently serving as the, oh, that's her name, right? Erica Mindel. She is the public policy manager of hate speech, and it's now war, and we own this. We own this space. So of course, the deal is going to go through if they're already putting IDF soldiers in control of monitoring our speech, which means we only have to get louder, and maybe we'll just choose a different platform in general if this is the direction that they want to go in. Basil Parhas writes, "Hey Candace, would you want to debate the more prominent commentators like Ben Shapiro, Brandon Tatum, and PBD on the topic of Assad and Palestine? They all have danced around calling you anti-Jewish, genetically speaking, and excessive in their videos. I would debate Ben Shapiro. I wouldn't debate Brandon Tatum because I love Brandon Tatum like a brother, and nobody in that scenario. I've just known him, like I know Brandon, I came up with him and Charlie, and I just know him as like a human being. And there are some things that to me are just like are bigger than politics. And so any conversation or debate that I'm going to have with Brandon will be treated in the same way, like the debates that I would have had with Charlie. You know, Charlie and I never threw each other under any buses publicly. And when we did disagree, we had those disagreements privately. And so I would say the same about Brandon Tatum. And I hope that clarifies. A lot of people were asking me about Brandon. He has been there for me. He's been there for my family. I see him as a human and not a political opponent. So that's my honest truth. Single security guard pulled a gun once shots rang out. I'm praying for you, Candace, and I'm grateful for this reporting. We cannot. They're adorable. Yes, I think it is strange. Actually, I thought about that after the fact, and they seem to know that not more was coming. Now, you could also, if we're being charitable, say that you're just so overwhelmed and you jump and you just are trying to save Charlie, but you would think that would have been guarding holding a gun, especially if you're trained to do these things and the amount of money that they were making off of Charlie, because Charlie ended up buying Turning Point USA, ended up taking on that security firm. You're kind of not the person that's allowed to freak out in those situations. And a lot of mistakes were made and a lot of things have not been explained. The right Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Ramirez was in the same jail as Sean Penn in 1987, who was serving 33 days. How do you feel about Tyler's legal team? I've not explored that. I have been so hyper-focused. People, I know you guys have been like, have you seen this? Have you seen that? I want to solve who did this, right? And I want to do it in a way that makes sense to me. I'm a timeline person. I'm very good at gathering data and intel, vetting that information that I'm getting and sharing it with the public in a way be chased. Focus right now is trying to figure out who else was involved on that day. Who is the lady that was in that photo? Marzi writes, this just in, the FBI just cut ties with the ADL after Turning Point USA criticism. They share a building, just FBI and ADL share a building. They're one and the same. I hope you guys know that. Over ExpressVPN and other VPN websites. I always had a conspiracy about that. I used to read ads for them, ExpressVPN, when I was working for Daily Wire, us to actually so much stuff. They're like, actually, why don't you pretend that this VPN hides things, and so that we know exactly where to look? And once I found that it was started by an Israeli billionaire, I was like, yeah, no, that's going to be a spying thing. That's how I felt, at least. I was like, they're just going to see what you want to hide and go straight there. So you're basically taking on the process of filtering for them. That's my conspiracy theory, one of many that I have, as you guys know, because you listen to the show. Lily writes, first, they made a false statement about Candace not being friends with Charlie. They pushed through their minions in the media. Now they planted a fake letter or post and their minions. Candace must be up to something. Yeah, I know who had access to Charlie's laptop, and I have questions about that, but I'm going to wait for the financial report to come out, which I'm not handling. And I got question marks about a couple of people over at Turning Point USA. And yeah, I think we should definitely be speaking about these shady pastors. I hope this is the year of the shady pastor after Operation Mocking Pastor, learning why they can say, oh, we don't take money from Israel, but they take money from an agent of Israel or an organization like the International Fellowship of Christian and Jews, which if you go to their website, hey, Christians, what do you do for Jews? To say that it's like a fellowship program, but then they have you like gathering pastors and paying off people. I mean, it's an ugly business. And I think it's about to all get exposed. I think it was a bad idea to kill Charlie Kirk. That's what I think. I think the devil overplayed his hand because that's what the devil does. The devil is arrogant. The devil has no friends. I remind people that the devil allegiance to the devil, just so you know, he will turn on you too. Okay? You're only as useful to him as you are an idiot to him. If you're willing to do his bidding, he will play ball. And as soon as you are not, he does not care about you. You mean nothing to him. You are dealing with a true psychopathic individual who cares about nothing more than their own selfish goals. That's what I believe. Anyways, I want to again remind you guys that we have new merch. Finally, after so many messages, we made it happen. We should have done it sooner, obviously. We don't know, no, but we know. And soon, ladies and gentlemen, we will know no. We will know no. I'm a Charlie Kirk story. You can head to CandaceOwens.com. By any out groups, we are taking influence from nobody other than the people that write to our tips box. We are being heavily influenced by them. I will say that. And I remind you, please, we love you all, but only if you have, we're going to get into a Russian and Ukrainian angle here for some reason, some way, somehow. We'll
I'm sorry. I didn't know that I was on mute still. Okay, there's a lot of speculations. The reason why I'm talking about it, obviously, I didn't follow the guy because I mean he said some things that a lot of people are upset with. But I mean, you don't go debate someone and then get mad because he's telling you whatever he feels, right? You know, I think he was a troll. You know, um, all the statistics, in my opinion, is not correct because they're man-made, based on the opinion of whoever, right? But I don't believe in unaliving a human being because he have his opinion, his theory, and he's reading from Google. You know, we 100% are getting controlled. You know, I have seen. I'm just keeping it a buck. The way, I mean, Candace just showed y'all what the guy from Israel said. You know what I'm saying? And we just sit here nonchalant, not paying attention. Y'all don't understand how we were invaded. You know, you don't know the actual back end on, like, literally how America got invaded. We think like we're so Mr. and Mrs. Untouchable, right? We're actually ruled by foreign land, right? Everything about this country is a corporation. Someone else hold the deed when they conquered melanated people land, right? And they put actors everywhere all over, right? Like everybody in the world come from tribes. Well, not tribes, they come from nations, okay? Everybody. I don't care what skin tone you are, you had a nation you came from. It's unfortunately some people, ethnic backgrounds, they like don't, what's the word to say? They don't want to know what they don't want to know anything about themselves other than they think that they're original people or whatever you want to think. You get what I'm saying? I'm just 100% confused on, like, how do we see things and then we see they tell us something else and we believe. It's like we believe a lie before we believe the truth. Right now, when I hear that guy from over there in Israel speak, I'm trying to understand, y'all, that little shithole place is small. Like, how do they hold so much power? That lets me know they're the gatekeepers, they're the landlords, and there's someone bigger than them. You get what I'm saying? Someone is controlling the wars, someone is controlling the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what I feel. Like someone is controlling the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I just truly believe that, you know. I honestly, I'm just baffled on how long it just took me and a lot of people in America to realize that we're working as slaves for other countries. The melanated people were captured at the war. And obviously YT people are too, because we all do the same things. They just pan us against each other. You don't do no more than different than I did. You can't do no more than what I do. You don't pay a bill, they take your car. Like someone might be a little nicer to you, that's it. You know what I'm saying? But the constantly, when you get a person in a position that people are following, looking at, whatever, right? They don't want another Trump, right? So they want to eliminate this guy, right? Or whatnot, which obviously I wouldn't have voted for him. I'm not gonna lie. I know I wouldn't have voted for him. And they just did not want another situation where we have a mega crowd of people following one person. You know, they want to get that. Believe it or not, they want to get it back where the Democrats are controlling. In my opinion, it's only my opinion. They want it back to, because right now a Democrat probably would not never be in Washington ever again after Biden. Biden was really a racist piece of shit. He was. I would not. He really was. and people looked up to this guy after he verbally, as an older man, saying the things he said about he didn't want Sharon to go to the jungle, right? I I mean, and there's no accountability, which I just don't want any. I'm finna stop forgiving people, because when you forgive people, basically their sin is removed. When people do you dirty, like when you do me dirty, I'm not forgiving you. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing none of that. I'm gonna do everything the opposite, other than getting in trouble at my age that they tell us to do, because I think they twist words, they twist things, they twist time, they twist everything. I feel I seen a BOK man said that Charlie realized one of his children was not his, and he found out. I said, well, if the kid not his, how was his wife and stuff is at the whatever it was, the event or whatever it is. And I'm I'm just keeping a book. I'm just confused, but I'll be watching that. I'm finna get off, take me a little nap, because I took a nap, woke up out of my sleep because I had a bad dream or whatever. And I'm finna just give me some sleep. I'll probably be on later. I'm gonna start trying to be in on here a little more. Thank you. I see you 6 people on here. Yeah, I haven't been live in so many years, but I definitely appreciate. I went live 2 weeks ago, but I'm finna start trying to go regular, you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you, whoever gave me the like. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. But 6 will turn into 12 next time, I think, because we're gonna talk about some stuff. We're gonna watch some things that's going on out there, some real stuff from people who are actually feet on the ground researching. I'm scared to even listen to the news anymore, because none of it is real. Like, they just played us. Yeah, we've been so played as Americans. Everybody in the world know who we were but us. That is crazy. And then this last thing, how y'all get mad because a person say they're not some type of culture? Do you know Africa is a continent? And I don't know. Let me get off here. Y'all have a great night. Morning. I'm gonna get some sleep.